accept. Okay. This chat varum. But the external screen work agala.
Good afternoon. Am I audible to everyone? Good afternoon. Am I audible? Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible to everyone? Yes, let me just start. Good afternoon, everybody. Sumant, yes, good afternoon. Shaik, good afternoon. Yes, am I audible to everyone? Jaiswal, yes, good afternoon, everybody. Salma, yes, good afternoon. Sasi, yes. So let me just start. Good afternoon, everybody. So firstly, I thank the convener Mohana for giving me this opportunity to take this workshop on cloud computing. Yes, good afternoon, everybody. So firstly, let me just give you a brief introduction to cloud computing. What do you mean by cloud computing? And then I will explain you a project. So let me take up a project and I will show you a simple implementation of this project. Alright, so if you have any doubts, you can just stop me in the middle or we can have a doubt clearing session at the end. Let me just start. So basically, what do you mean by cloud computing? So what do you mean by cloud computing? So computing is any activity. It uses computer to control, process and communicate information. Similarly, what do you mean by cloud computing? Instead of using the local storage, we are going to store everything in the cloud architecture. So everything we are going to store in the global storage or cloud storage. So this is what is called as cloud computing. So from the term you can just understand cloud computing, it means storing and accessing data over the internet instead of the local hard drive. Clear with this? So this is what is called as cloud computing. So when we store data and run programs from the hard drive, then it is called local storage and computing. Whereas when we are going to do everything over the global storage or cloud storage, so this is what is called as cloud computing. So we need to access the data over the cloud or the internet. So as the volume of data is going to increase, for example, you can consider some e-commerce industry, Amazon, Flipkart, or you can consider some other type of industries, banking industries, a huge volume of data is being generated. So everything we are going to store over the cloud. So instead of the local hard drive, we are going to store everything over the cloud architecture. Clear with this? So this is what is called as cloud computing. So instead of storing everything in the local hard drive, we are going to store securely in the cloud architecture. So many different types of applications. All these are the different examples of cloud computing. So what are the different applications or examples? So all these are the different examples of cloud computing. Google Drive. So what do you mean by this Google Drive? So it is a cloud computing service with all the storage online. So whenever I want to store everything over the cloud, so I can go for this Google Drive, Google Documents, Sheets. So as the volume of data is going to increase, so I can go for global storage. So I can go for Google Drive, Apple iCloud. So what do you mean by this Apple iCloud? So it is used for online storage, backup, synchronization. So I can go for this Apple iCloud. So Dropbox. So what do you mean by this Dropbox? It is used for efficient storage feature for years. So all these are the different examples of cloud computing and cost. So with computing techniques, hardware and software cost can be reduced. So everything instead of storing on the local hard drive, so everything is stored securely over the cloud architecture. So hardware and software cost can be reduced. And global scaling. So all these are the different benefits of cloud computing. So it includes the ability to scale elastically. So we need to provide the correct amount of resources. With less computing power, we are going to achieve the maximum. So global scaling. Performance. So all these are the different benefits of cloud computing. Security. They provide a broad set of policies. They strengthen the posture. They protect our applications, data, infrastructure. So all these are the different benefits. So why I have to go for this? Clear with this? So what do you mean by this cloud computing? Security, speed. So they provide a broad set of policies. They strengthen the security posture. They protect our applications, data, infrastructure. And speed. So most cloud computing services, they provide self-service. So all these are the different benefits of cloud computing. So whenever I am going for any type of technology, so what mainly the major advantage of going for this cloud concepts are, we are going to store everything over the cloud architecture. So instead of storing in the local hard drive, so we are going to store everything over the cloud architecture. So following are the different types of cloud computing. The first one is the private cloud. The second one is the public cloud. And the third one is the hybrid cloud. So basically we have three different types of cloud computing. So what do you mean by this public cloud? So it is a classic cloud computing model. So the users can access a large pool of power over the internet. So I can go for infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service. So what is the main benefits? So public cloud. So it is one of the popularly used cloud computing model. So the suppliers, they have vast amounts of computing power. So we are going to go for this multi-tenant architecture. So it can be shared among a large number of customers. So public cloud, this is one type of cloud computing. And the second type of cloud computing is the private cloud. So what do you mean by this private cloud? For example, you have Microsoft or Google. So within a smaller unit, if I want to share my data, so the control where the data is being held. So this is called as a private cloud. So based on my requirement, I can go for any of these cloud models. The first one is a public cloud. The second one is a private cloud. And the third one is the hybrid cloud. So what do you mean by this hybrid cloud? So it is a mixture of private and public cloud models. Clear with this? So what is the main reason? So based on my requirement, so whatever type of data I want to store, so I can go for different types of cloud computing models. Clear with this? I just gave an introduction to cloud computing. So what are all the different things? So you can see the main reason for choosing hybrid cloud is they include disaster recovery planning. So all these are the different types of cloud computing models. Based on my requirement, I can go for any of these cloud computing models. I can go for a private cloud, or I can go for a public cloud, or I can go for a hybrid cloud. So all these are the different types of cloud computing models. Clear with this? So we have different applications. So cloud technology, this technology is growing at a very fast rate. So many technologies are available. So cloud computing models, so it is one of the fast growing technologies in today's world. So whenever I want to store and access software, so storing file online. So all these are the different applications of cloud computing. Video making and editing software, file converters. So what do you mean by this video making and editing software? So it helps to create and modify the videos, and file converters. So there are many applications which are used to change the format of files. So if the files should be converted from one format to other, for example HTML to PDF and other types of formats, I can go for this file converters. And antivirus applications. So all these are the different applications of cloud computing. An e-commerce application. Clear with this? So based on my requirement, so I can use cloud models to do any of these things. So all these are the different applications of cloud computing. So what is the main reason? So why we have to go for this kind of cloud computing models? As the volume of data is going to increase. So whenever the volume of data is going to increase, I have to go for this type of cloud computing models. So you can see everything is becoming online. For example, online shopping, online movie sites, or I can go for many other type of sites. For example, online restaurants, movie sites. So wherever online banking sector, so in whichever sector you go, huge volume of data is being generated. So instead of saving them in the local drive, so everything should be stored securely in the cloud architecture. So that is the main reason, so why we have to go for this cloud computing models. So next I am going to discuss with you about some applications of cloud computing. So the first important project, so public auditing. So far I just gave an introduction to cloud computing. What do you mean by cloud computing? So I am going to discuss with you about this project. So what do you mean by this public auditing project? So what is the main objective of this project? So I am going to propose a privacy preserving mechanism that supports public auditing on shared data stored in the cloud. So whenever I am going to store some data in the cloud, so the privacy of the files, so I should maintain the file privacy. So that is the main objective of this project. So I am going to propose a privacy preserving mechanism that supports public auditing on the shared data stored in the cloud. Clear with this? So that is the main aim of this project. So objective, or whatever you call objective, or the aim of this project. So then I am going to discuss with you about, I am just giving a brief overview or abstract of this project. So what we are going to do in this project? So we are going to develop an effective public auditing protocol. It overcomes the limitation of the existing auditing scheme. So the proposed system, it is developed to verify the correctness of cloud data by the third party auditor. So whenever I am going to store some data securely in the cloud architecture, so it is verified by the third party auditor without retrieving them in the local drive. So what is the main aim of this project? It assures that no data content is leaked to the third party auditor during the auditing process. So it maintains the storage, correctness of data, integrity and confidentiality of stored data. So whenever we are going for any of the cloud computing techniques, so what is the aim of all these types of cloud models? So we need to maintain the integrity and confidentiality of data stored in the cloud. So the proposed system, it consists of three basic entities. It contains the data owner, cloud server storage and the third party auditor. Clear with this? So the proposed system, it consists of some three basic entities. So they are the data owner, it contains the data owner and it contains the cloud server storage and a third party auditor. So whenever the person, so what we are going to do in this project, so I am just giving a brief overview of this project. So whenever a person, he is going to upload some files, so it will be stored in the cloud architecture. It is protected by strong cryptographic techniques like AES algorithm, advanced encryption standard, and it will be stored securely in the cloud architecture. So a third party auditor, so what do you mean by this third party auditor? So he will be able to view and verify the correctness of files stored in the cloud drive without retrieving them in the local storage. So in this way, the integrity of the data, the integrity and confidentiality of data stored in the cloud is being protected. So currently in the existing system, what is happening in the existing system? So many data mining techniques and other type of techniques are being employed in order to protect the data stored in the cloud. So there is no third party auditor, or they have employed various other type of data mining techniques in order to check the correctness of data stored in the cloud architecture. But what is the disadvantage of my existing system? So the traditional cryptographic primitives, it cannot be directly adopted and they do not perform multiple auditing tasks. So whenever as the volume of data is going to increase, when I want to perform some multiple auditing tasks, so it is not possible in the existing system. In order to overcome the disadvantage of my existing system, I am coming for a proposed system. So what happens in the proposed system? So I am going to use a privacy preserving public auditing mechanism for shared data in the cloud. So I am going to employ some ring signatures. So a public verifier is able to audit the data. Without retrieving the entire data, he cannot distinguish. So whenever a person, he is going to upload some files on the cloud storage. So it is protected by strong cryptographic techniques like AES algorithm. So the entire file is stored in an encrypted form. Clear with this? So it is stored in a logged format. It is protected by AES algorithm, advanced encryption standard, and it is stored in a logged format. Clear with this? So this is what happens in the proposed system. So what is the advantage of my proposed system? So a group manager, there will be a third party auditor. So what do you mean by public auditing? So when you consider any organization, corporate companies, so there will be a third party auditor. He can view the correctness of files stored in the cloud storage without retrieving them. So whenever a person, he is going to upload some files in the drive, so he will upload by providing his signs. So ring signatures are being employed. So there will be a third party auditor. He can verify the correctness of files stored in the cloud storage without retrieving them. So what is the advantage of my proposed system? So they can perform multiple auditing tasks. So what do you mean by this multiple auditing tasks? So it is also called as batch auditing. So they can perform some multiple auditing tasks. So this is one major advantage of my proposed system. as the volume of data is going to increase, batch auditing or multiple auditing, so whatever you call, they can perform some multiple auditing tasks simultaneously. So they improve the efficiency of verification for multiple auditing tasks. And they provide high security, provide for file sharing. So all these are the advantages of my proposed system. Clear with this? So what we are going to do in this project, so cloud computing, this is one emerging technology in today's world. So what we are going to do in this project, so I just gave a brief overview of this project. So when you consider the system architecture diagram, so all these are the different blocks that are present in the system architecture diagram. So it contains an users block. So it contains a third party auditor and it contains a cloud server. Clear with this? So all these are the different blocks that are present in the system architecture. So he can upload or download the file. So whenever he is going to upload the file, it is protected by strong cryptographic techniques. It is stored in the cloud server. Clear? So you can see here, so there will be a third party auditor. He can verify the correctness of files stored in the cloud storage without retrieving them. So this is how my message flows. Clear with the architecture diagram? So firstly you should understand, so what are the different blocks that are involved in the system architecture. There will be a users block. So there will be a third party auditor. And there will be a cloud server. So all these are the different blocks that are involved in the system architecture. So the user, he can upload or download the file. So whenever he is going to upload some file in the file server, it will be protected by strong cryptographic techniques. We are going to employ some AES algorithm and it will be protected by strong cryptographic techniques. And whenever he want to download the file, so he need to provide the corresponding decryption key. He can download and I can just view the file. So all these are the different modules that are present in this project. So it contains a user registration module. It contains a public auditing. So all these are the different modules that are present in this project. So there will be a public auditor. He can verify the correctness of files stored in the cloud storage without retrieving them. And sharing data and integrity checking. So all these are the different modules that are present in this project. So user registration. So as the name indicates, what is the role of different modules, what each and every module is going to do in this project. So user registration, so there will be a group manager. So whenever the user wants to register something, so he can register. So there will be a user registration module. And there will be a public auditing. So what is the role of this public auditor? So whenever the user, he is going to upload some files in the cloud storage, the public auditor, he can verify the correctness of files stored in the cloud storage without retrieving them. So that is the role of a public auditor. And sharing data. So whenever the user, he wants to share some data, so it comes in the sharing data module. Clear with this? So what we are going to do in this project? So what are all the different hardware and software requirements that are essential to do this project? So everything is developed using Java language. So we are using JDK, Java Development Kit 1.7 or 8 version. I am using 1.8. And we are using Windows 7 or 8 64-bit operating system. So we are using the NetBeans IDE for development and we are using this MySQL server. And what are all the different hardware requirements that are essential to do this project? We require 1 GB RAM memory capacity. 80 GB hard disk, above 2 GHz processor and a data card. So all these are the different hardware and software requirements that are essential to do this project. So I will just show you a simple implementation example of this. Let me just show you a simple implementation example. So this is my public auditing project. You can see my screen. And inside this I have different folders. So I have a WebINF and I have the source packages. And under the source packages I have all these .java files. For example, I have this AES encryptor.java. And I have an admin servlet.java. Clear with this? So all these are the different .java files. And inside my web pages folder, so I have admin links.jsp. So inside my all my JSP files are stored in WebINF folder. So I have an admin links.jsp, admin login.jsp. So in order to perform different types of operations, I have different .jsp files. And I have auditor login. And I have a download.jsp, index.jsp. So all these are the different .jsp files. You can see here. So whenever I go to admin links.jsp, so you can see I have an HTML tag. And inside this I have a body and then background. So whenever I want to change my background color, so I have an option called background. Clear with this? So all my front end pages .jsp files will be stored inside this WebINF folder. So the admin login will be stored in my admin login.jsp. And inside this auditor login.jsp you can see here. So I have some form tags inside this body tag. So I have a form tag. So form name equal to, so whatever is the name of the form, it is enclosed within double quotes. And method, for example, method equal to within double quotes, I am giving here as post request. And each and every type of form tag, it has got an action attribute. So action equal to, I am giving here as auditor login servlet. Clear with this? So I am going for this table tags, table row. I am creating separate table rows, and inside this I am having some table data. So what are all the different fields it should have? For example, I am having this form. So inside this, whenever the auditor he is going to log in, so he should have some username. So I am creating a table tag. So all these are the different types of tags available in HTML. So based on my requirement, I can use any of these tags available in HTML. So I am having this table row, and inside this I am having TD tag, table data. Clear with this? So I have username and then password. And finally I am creating this input type equal to submit. So when I want to submit something, so I am giving the input type as submit button. And all my .java files, they are stored in the folder source packages. So I have an auditor registration servlet.java and download servlet. So I have different .java files. So whenever I want to perform some encryption, so I am having this AES encryptor.java. So firstly I need to import the corresponding packages. So what are all the essential packages that are required for my development? So firstly I need to import the corresponding packages. So javax.crypto.secret key. So I am importing all the required packages. Cipher input stream, cipher output stream. And whenever I want to create any new class, I have to use the class keyword followed by the name of the class. It is prepended by the corresponding access modifier. So I can go for public access modifier, private access modifier. So mostly I will be going for this public access modifier. So I am just creating a constructor called AES encryptor and I am passing this secret key. So you can see here. So cipher.getInstance, encryption cipher and then decryption cipher. So I am defining separate user defined function called encrypt function and decrypt function. So I am initializing the cipher output stream. So whenever the person he is going to upload some file, so it will be encrypted by AES encryption algorithm. And whenever he wants to decrypt, so I have to provide the corresponding decrypt function. Clear with this? So what is the use of AES encryptor and decryptor? So I have a admin servlet, I have auditor login servlet, owner login servlet. So I have different .java files. All these are stored in the folder, source packages folder. So whenever I want to upload something, so I have an upload servlet.java file. Clear with this? So whenever the person he wants to upload something, so I am giving this public auditing, data owner registration, product key. So I am just going to run this file. So run this project. Just right click and there is an option called run option. So you have an admin page, you have user details, data creators, auditor details. So whenever, for example, he can log in as a user. For example, I am clicking the user details page and I need to provide the corresponding username and password. So if I want to go inside and see, so I need to provide the corresponding username and password. So I have my tables loaded here. So data owner registration. So whatever is the username and password, so I need to provide the corresponding username and password. So it goes to the login servlet page, or I can go for this admin login. To whichever page I want to go, so I have to go to the corresponding page here. So I can go for this admin login. So inside this admin, you can see here, select star from admin. So whatever is the username and password, so I need to give the corresponding username and password. So I have user registration form, I have data creator form, auditor registration, user revocation. So I have all these links here. So I can go to this user registration form, data creator registration, auditor registration form, user revocation form. Clear with this? So I have different forms. So whenever I want data creator, so I can go for this data creator form. So once I am going to fill in the details and click the submit button, so this form will be submitted. So you can give the corresponding username, password, an email address, product key, mobile number and then city. For example, I am giving here, so whatever is the username, I am giving the corresponding username, password. So whatever password I want. So all these are the corresponding passwords. Clear with this? So I can give some password and whatever is the product key I am giving here. So if I want to use some mobile numbers, I am just giving some mobile numbers. So I need to click the submit button. Similarly, I have data creators, auditor details, contact us. So for example, if I want to go to this data creator, so I can give the username and password and I need to click the submit button. And auditor details. So whenever I am going to provide the username and password, so I can go to this auditor form. Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. You are clear with this project. So this is one application of cloud computing. You are clear with this? You are clear with this project? So this is one application of cloud computing. So next I am going to discuss with you about one more application of cloud computing. So secured erasure coding. So what we are going to do in this project? So this is one application of cloud computing. So still I am going to discuss with you about one more application of cloud computing. So I am going to propose a check plan for the framework. So in order to upgrade some information against some defilement. So what we are going to do in this project, that is erasure coding project. So whenever in case of public auditing project, so I just discuss with you. So everything will be stored securely in the cloud architecture. So in case of erasure coding, so instead of storing in a single place, it will be split into different storage servers, key servers. So distributed storage servers and key servers. So what we are going to do in this project? For example, whenever I want to store something in the cloud drive, so instead of storing in a single place, it will be split into several storage servers. Clear with this? So that is the main aim of this project, secured erasure coding project. So in this way I am going to save the confidentiality and the integrity of data stored in the cloud. Clear with this? So I am just giving a brief overview of this project. So currently in the existing system, so I am going to use some straightforward method. So the confidentiality of data stored in the cloud is not being preserved. So whenever I want to perform more computation, the traffic between the user and the storage servers is high. So he need to manage his cryptographic keys, otherwise the security has to be broken. So data storing and retrieval, it is going to be a very tough process. So all these are the disadvantage of my existing system. In order to overcome the disadvantage of my existing system, I am coming for a proposed system. So what is going to happen in this proposed system? So I am going to use some distributed servers. So instead of storing them in a single place, I am going to use some distributed servers. I am going to store them across different servers. Clear with this? So for example, whatever files I am storing in the cloud storage, it will be split into several servers. It will be stored in separate key servers. So whenever I am storing something in the cloud, it is protected by using AES, Advanced Encryption Standard. So what is the advantage of my proposed system? Robustness of data stored in the cloud. So data robustness. So this is one advantage of my proposed system, and confidentiality and data forwarding. So all these are the major advantages of my proposed system. So when you look at the block diagram, so you can just view here. So what are all the different blocks that are involved in the block diagram? So you will have a admin login block. And from the admin login, the file upload to the server happens. So whenever he wants to upload some files to the server, so he can upload the files. And whenever he is going to upload the file, he needs to encrypt the data. It is protected by AES encryption, Advanced Encryption Standard. You can see here, so it is being split into 4 separate servers, key servers. So instead of storing in a single place, it is being split into 4 key servers. And the person, he can just download and he can just view those data stored in these servers. So all these are the different modules that are essential to do this project. So we are going to have a registration module and we are going to have a sharing data. So whenever the user wants to share some data, so we are having this module called sharing data. And secure cloud storage. So whenever the user wants to store securely in the cloud storage area, so I am having this secure cloud storage. Proxy re-encryption and data retrieval. So all these are the different modules that are present in this project. So all these are the different hardware and software requirements that are essential to do this project. So I require a processor of 2 GHz, 512 megabytes of RAM and 80 GB hard disk. So all these are the different hardware requirements and software requirements. Everything is developed using Java language. And I require this Glassfish server. So when I want to deploy something, so I require this Glassfish server. And I require Windows 7 32-bit operating system. And everything is developed using this NetBeans IDE. So I just gave a brief overview of this project, secure file sharing. So next I am going to discuss with you about the implementation of this project. Clear with this? So in this Erasure coding project, so I have a web pages folder. And inside this web pages, I have different .jsp files. So I have a admin.jsp file. And I have a Erasure AES.jsp. So all my .jsp files are stored in the WebINF folder. So I have an Erasure code.jsp. And I have all these things. For example, index.jsp, result.jsp. So all my .jsp files are stored in the WebINF folder. And I have this source packages folder. So inside this source packages, I have all these source packages. AES encryptor.java. So whenever I want to perform some sort of encryption, so it is stored in the .java, that is AES encryptor.java. So you can see here, so whenever I want to perform some Erasure AES admin.jsp, so whenever the user he wants to upload some file, I am having this file upload.jsp. Clear with this? So I am giving form name, so whatever is the form name, and there is an attribute called action attribute. So I am giving the action as file upload to. So if I want to, that is the file to be where the file action to whichever servlet it should be redirected. So I am giving the action as file upload to. Clear with this? So all my .jsp files are defined inside this WebINF folder. And I have user create.jsp, user registration.jsp, index.jsp. So whatever front end pages I am developing, so everything is stored inside this WebINF folder. And inside this source packages folder, so I have all these .java files. I have this AES encryptor.java. So whenever I want to perform some encryption and decryption, so I can go for this AES encryptor.java. And there is an admin servlet. So whenever the person he wants to upload some files, he can go for this file upload one.java. So firstly I need to import the required packages. So what are the packages that are essential for my development. So first I need to import the corresponding packages. Clear with this? So what are all the different things I am doing here? So I am just importing HTTP servlet, connection, driver manager, result set. So all my .java files are stored inside this source packages folder. So share login servlet, login share file.java. Clear with this? So I have MD hashing, share login servlet. So I have this admin servlet, download login form. So let me just try to run this file. So you can see here. So what is the use of all these .java files? I have a AES encrypted.java. So I have this file upload one. So whenever the person wants to upload some files, I am having this file upload one.java. So firstly I need to import the corresponding packages. So I have this array list, request dispatcher, servlet exception, HTTP servlet. So let me just, so firstly I need to import the required packages. What are all the essential packages that are required for my development? And then I am defining a class called file upload one. So I am just trying to run this file. So just right click and there is an option called run option. So I have an admin page, upload, download, AES. So whenever the person wants to upload this file. So let me just show you a simple example of this. So I am giving here as Erasure coding. So whatever is the admin username and password, I need to give the corresponding admin username and password. So welcome to registration. So I am just getting this page. So whenever the user he wants to register, so he can just provide his credentials. For example, I am giving the username of something and he needs to enter his password. So whatever is the password, I am giving some random passwords. And email ID. So I am giving some randomly, I am giving some email ID. And mobile number. So whatever is the mobile number, so I am giving the corresponding mobile number. And I am giving some key. So once I am clicking the, so it should be of some 16 letters. So I need to give the corresponding things. Clear with this? So once I am going to get all these things, so I can just click the register button. So similarly, if a person wants to upload some files, so once he is going to upload, so I need to give the username and password. So I am going to the database. So inside this I need to get the username and password. So I am giving here as select star from registration. So I am giving the username and password as Ram and then Ram. Clear with this? So once I am going to click the submit button, so he comes to this page. And I am browsing for some files. For example, if I want to upload this file, so some files I am having, so I am just opening this. And once I am going to hit the submit button, so you can see here, I am getting this message, file uploaded successfully. And whenever the person, he wants to download some files, so he can go to the download module and AES. So whenever I want to encrypt a file, so you can just choose the file and I am just opening this. So if I want to enter some passphrase, so I am entering this, I am just clicking the button as encrypt. Your file is ready, so it is saying. Clear with this? some file. So what is the concept of this Erasure coding? So whenever you are trying to upload some files, it will be split and stored into 4 separate key servers. So instead of storing in a single place, it will be split into 4 separate files. Clear with this concept? So similarly, you can have some contact information. So I am having this upload file. So all these are the different modules that are present in this project. With this, I am just stopping today. If you have any doubts, you can just ask me. Any doubts? So I just gave an introduction to cloud computing and I was discussing with you about some 2 concepts. Everything is clear? Any doubts? Everything is clear? Everything is clear? No more doubts? Yes, you can develop, for example, you have multi-owner network security. For intra-network security, you can go for cloud concepts. Similarly, in a student counseling management system or in a university, so whenever I have large volumes of data, so I can go for this cloud concepts. I can store them securely in the cloud storage. Any more doubts? Alright then, no more doubts. I will just end this session. Thank you all.